Today, we're biking along a trail that follows a water highway built 200 years ago, the Erie Canal. It helped turn New York into the Empire State, transformed America's economy, and changed the course of history. Today, the canal has been in continuous operation longer than any other man-made transportation system in America. Believe it or not, the idea for the Erie Canal was born in a debtor's prison. In 1807, Jesse Hawley, a flour merchant from Canandaigua, landed in jail after his business partner disappeared with all their money. While he was behind bars, Jesse wrote a series of essays about building a canal across New York, from the Hudson River to Lake Erie. He even laid out how to do it. One of the people who took notice? A young politician named DeWitt Clinton. Clinton saw the canal as a way to put New York City and New York State on the map, so he pushed the project forward, despite being laughed at. Critics called it Clinton's ditch, but this ditch would become a 363-mile engineering marvel that would reshape the country. As we bike from Albany to Buffalo, we'll visit some of the canal's most fascinating sites and see how this trail connects the past to the present. In 1817, the first shovel of dirt for the Erie Canal was dug right here in Rome, New York, around milepost 129. It was flat ground, no rocks, no locks, just an easy stretch to prove the canal could be built. The first 15 miles opened in 1819. The rest took 8 years, all dug by hand. Today, you could ride right past the spot and never know its significance. The old marker is easy to miss, and the Erie Canal Village, once a recreated 1800s canal town, now sits quiet and abandoned, slowly fading into history. The Erie Canal was such a success, it was expanded 3 times. The original canal that opened in 1825, the enlarged Erie Canal that opened in 1862, and the barge canal system we use today, championed by then-Governor Teddy Roosevelt, that opened in 1918. Schoharie Crossing west of Amsterdam is the only place where you can see parts of all 3 major phases of the canal in one spot. So check out the remains of the Schoharie Aqueduct, once 624 feet long, which carried boats high above the river. Oh, and a fun fact, canal boats traveled at just 4 miles an hour, about as fast as a brisk walk. Today, there are 34 locks on the Erie Canal. Lock 17 is a beast, the highest lift lock on the Erie Canal, raising boats nearly 40.5 feet. It uses a massive counterweighted guillotine gate suspended from chains. It looks like something out of an industrial age movie. In Newark, the Erie Canal's past and present come together. Lock 28B is still in use today, lifting boats about 12 feet. And right next to it stands an original early 1900s powerhouse. Inside, some of the century-old machinery that once powered the gates still hums with life. And just across the street, the mossy remains of Lock 59 from the enlarged Erie Canal, once lifting boats nearly 8 feet, is now frozen in time. Lockport was a major engineering hurdle. A 67-foot cliff stood in the way. So the solution was the flight of 5 locks, built by hand, stone by stone. In the days before electricity or steel, wooden gates could only hold back 12 feet of water. So to climb the cliff, they built 5 locks in a row, and they're still here today. Over 30 aqueducts carried canal boats over rivers and streams. Here's a few standouts. The Chittenango Creek Aqueduct was built with piers instead of arches, and that's a different take on aqueduct design. The towpath crossed the canal at the top of the piers. Camillus Erie Canal Park is located at the halfway point on the original Erie Canal. This park is home to 9 Mile Creek Aqueduct, built in 1841 and restored in 2009. It's the only fully restored and navigable aqueduct on the canal today. You might not even notice it, but just outside Weedsport, the trail rolls right across the top of the old Centerport Aqueduct. Built in 1857 to carry canal boats over Cold Spring Brook, this stone and mortar structure is one of the few aqueducts you can still bike across today. Just another hidden gem waiting beneath your wheels. Once a canal crossing in the heart of downtown Rochester, the Genesee River Aqueduct proved to be too narrow and shallow for commercial service, so it was eventually converted into a short-lived subway. The aqueduct was captured in Kodak founder George Eastman's first ever photo. In Medina, the canal passes over the creek here, and the water flows under the Erie Canal before plunging over a scenic waterfall. The Erie Canal Museum is located in the last surviving Waylock building in America. A Waylock building is essentially a big elaborate scale to weigh the boats traveling on the Erie Canal and determine how much each boat would pay for a toll. From 1850 to 1882, this building weighed an average of 4 boats per hour around the clock. Today, you can walk aboard a replica passenger packet boat in the Waylock and get a real impression of what it was like. Tucked just off the trail in Chittenango is a real hidden gem, the Canal Boat Museum. It sits on the original dry docks where boats were once built and repaired. Today, you can wander through restored buildings, see replica boats, and get a feel for what canal life was really like in its heyday. And while you're there, take a short ride into Chittenango to see the yellow brick sidewalks of the author of The Wizard of Oz's hometown. This stop includes a preserved lock, towpath, and canal-era buildings, plus exhibits about canal engineering and travel. It has its own exit off the New York State Thruway heading east, but it's also accessible by the trail. Nestled between the original 19th century locks and the modern barge canal system, this self-guided museum does something clever. It contrasts the hand-hewed stone tools and techniques used to build the original Erie Canal locks with the concrete and mechanized equipment of the later barge canal era. To preserve history through community art, historic canal scenes adorn buildings in many canal communities. The Mural Mania project spurred artists to create historic artwork along the 75-mile corridor between Rochester and Syracuse. There are 15 operating lift bridges across the canal today. The Fairport Lift Bridge was constructed in 1914. Its unusual construction has placed it in Ripley's Believe It or Not. No two angles on the bridge are the same, and none of the corners are square. In Spencerport and Brockport, look for bedstead-style bridges that are still in use. They're named for their square iron frame shape that looks a lot like a vintage bed frame flipped on its side. First erected in 1858, the Change Bridge is the oldest iron bridge in New York State, and only one of 2 bridges to survive from the first enlargement of the Erie Canal. Its unique design allowed mules to change from the towpath on one side of the canal to the other without having to unhitch the mules. Take a minute and ride over it. This is the only place where a road goes under the Erie Canal. You can literally stand beneath the canal, and yeah, water might drip down your neck. Also, watch out for boaters going too fast, as this one gave me a soaker. Along the route, you'll see guard gates. These gates help to isolate sections of the canal in case of emergency, such as a break in the canal wall, an accident, or extremely high water. They're also used when a section of the canal needs to be drained for maintenance or winter freeze protection. Buffalo is the western terminus of the canal, where the canal meets the Great Lakes. Before the canal, it was just a village. After the canal, a booming inland port, grain capital of North America, and one of the most technically advanced cities in the country, thanks to harnessing the electricity provided by nearby Niagara Falls. At Canalside, you'll find restored sections of the original canal harbor and commercial slips, once the hub of trade and travel. From quiet canal towns to crumbling aqueducts, forgotten villages, quirky landmarks, to riding through a lock. This isn't just a peaceful ride through the countryside. It's a rolling museum with stories waiting around every bend. The story of the Erie Canal and its huge impact on the world is everywhere if you just take the time to look. So slow down, soak it in, and let the trail tell its tale.